There comes a point in every chosen one's journey when you start to realize you were never overlooked because you weren't enough. You were overlooked because you were too much, too bright, too skilled, too aligned, too refined for spaces that were still learning how to recognize real value. For so long you've carried this silent question in your heart. Why am I always the second option? Why do people choose everyone else but me, when I know I've put in the work, paid my dues, and carry more integrity, more creativity, more heart than most? Let's be real. It's not that you weren't qualified. You had the looks, you had the credentials, you had the presence that could shift a whole room. But what you didn't realize is that some rooms weren't built to hold your energy yet. Some doors stayed closed not because you were unworthy, but because they couldn't contain your anointing. The season of overlooked greatness. Maybe you've been in situations where you gave your all to people, to jobs, to relationships, and they still picked someone else. You watched less qualified people get the promotion. You watched someone with half your drive be chosen for the opportunity you prayed for. You stayed humble. You stayed patient. You clapped for people who wouldn't have done the same for you. And deep down it hurt. You smiled on the outside, but inside you wondered if God even noticed how many times you were skipped over. But here's the truth. You weren't skipped. You were being saved. Because had they chosen you back then, you would have settled for being tolerated, not celebrated. You would have wasted your brilliance in places that only wanted to use your light, not honor it. Your name wasn't called because it wasn't supposed to be called in that season. But now, the energy has shifted. The era of first option has begun. The same tables that once had no seat for you are being rebuilt. The same doors that once slammed in your face are being reopened, and this time they're swinging wide because your name is written on them. Get used to being the first option. Get used to being the person they call first when a solution is needed. Get used to your name coming up first when excellence is mentioned. Get used to your energy being the standard. Because your season of being hidden was divine preparation. You weren't being punished, you were being positioned. See, there's a difference between being delayed and being developed. When you're being developed, you go through a stage where people sleep on you, where your value is invisible to those without spiritual sight. But Source saw you the entire time. You were being molded, refined, sharpened, and fortified for what's coming. They didn't see you, but Source did. Think back to all the times you showed up when no one else did. The times you trained in silence, perfected your craft, studied your purpose, believed in yourself when the world didn't. You thought you were being ignored, but you were actually being recorded. Every tear, every lonely night, every congratulations you gave to someone else when you were still waiting for your turn, it's all been counted. The Most High has been documenting your patience, your consistency, your heart. And now the records are being revealed. This is the season where you will finally understand why they had to overlook you, so they couldn't take credit for your rise. Because this time nobody's going to be able to say they made you. They'll have to say, that's all God, that's all them, that's all divine alignment. You've graduated from almost. No more being almost chosen. No more you were the runner-up. No more we went another direction. No, you are the direction. The Most High didn't bring you this far just to watch you clap for everyone else's win. This is your winning season. This is the moment where you go from being optional to being essential. But here's the twist. Being the first option isn't just about being picked by others. It's about picking yourself first. For years, you placed everyone else ahead of you. Their comfort, their validation, their opinion. You dimmed your light so others could shine. You minimized your value just to fit in. You tried to make yourself small enough to be accepted. Now it's time to be large enough to be remembered. It's time to stop waiting to be invited to tables that you were born to build. The energy shift. Confidence over comparison. Let me tell you something powerful. When you finally decide to walk in your divine confidence, the world will have no choice but to adjust. You've played humble long enough. You've proven yourself in silence long enough. It's time to be loud with your light. When you walk into rooms now, walk like your name already carries weight. When you speak, speak like your words are already law. When you show up, know that your presence itself is a privilege. Get used to your reflection being the blueprint. Get used to your creativity being the inspiration. Get used to your energy being the vibration that others want to emulate. Because when you truly understand who you are, being the first option becomes natural. It's no longer about ego, it's about awareness. You are the assignment that others didn't recognize at first glance. Be the first option in your finances. And it's not just about being chosen by people, it's about being chosen by prosperity. Too many times you've placed your financial power in the hands of other people's timing, waiting on jobs, clients, or circumstances to determine your worth. But now it's time to be the first option in your finances. Start commanding abundance with your words. Start affirming wealth with your energy. Start building multiple streams that align with your purpose. Your financial glow-up isn't about luck. It's about vibration. You attract what you believe you deserve. That's why I created something special, the Money Portal Affirmations on Patreon. If you're ready to rewire your mindset for overflow, to open portals of divine wealth, and to claim your position as the first option in your finances, the link is in the description. Align your thoughts, words, and frequency with abundance itself, because prosperity isn't running from you. It's been waiting for you to see yourself as first. Get used to respect, recognition, and radiance. The world is shifting to your frequency now. People who once ignored your messages will start quoting you. People who once scrolled past your content will now be replaying your videos. The same ones who underestimated you will be the ones saying, "I always knew they had something special." Get used to being seen. Get used to being respected. Get used to your name being mentioned in rooms you didn't even know existed. But most importantly, get used to not being surprised by it anymore. Because when you understand divine timing, you don't get shocked by blessings, you expect them. You realize you were the first option all along, the world just needed time to catch up. Remember this. When you were being overlooked, you were learning endurance. When you were being passed over, you were learning patience. When you were being tested, you were building spiritual muscle. Now you walk differently. Now you move with quiet confidence. Now you understand that the crown didn't appear on your head overnight. It was formed through fire. So when people start calling you first, don't act surprised. Smile and say, "It's about time the world saw what God saw." This is your time to be celebrated, not tolerated. This is your time to lead, not chase. This is your time to receive, not beg. You've been chosen, and this time you're staying in first place. Final words. To everyone listening to this, if this message resonates with you, if you've ever felt overlooked, unseen, or undervalued, comment below. I am first option. Let that be your affirmation. Let that be your declaration. Because when you type those words, you're not just commenting, you're claiming. You're sending a signal to the universe that you are no longer waiting for permission to shine. Like, share, and subscribe to get this message out to the ones who need to hear it. Let's make sure every soul who's been overlooked understands that their time has come. And if you want to help this community grow, if these messages uplift you, inspire you, and keep your spirit aligned, please consider contributing through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Every contribution helps us reach more hearts, more minds, and more souls that need this light. And remember, when you walk in purpose, you don't compete, you attract. You don't chase validation, you embody it. You don't wait to be chosen. You realize you were chosen all along.